Mom and sister got angry when I refused to babysit. This happened many moons ago, but the audacity of those in the story remains. They still bring this issue up from time to time. At the time this story took place, I was homeschooling my three boys, 7, 4, 2, and had an infant daughter, 5 months. I found out I was pregnant with my daughter months after she announced her pregnancy and was immediately berated by my mother as to, "Why can't you let your sister have her moment?" when my mother was well aware of our plans to add a fourth child to our family at a specific time. As it happened, my daughter is 7 months younger than my nephew. I had originally offered to babysit him and breastfeed him because of my sister's finances for free while she went back to school to finish her master's degree. When my nephew was about a year old, sister opted to wait on school. I was asked if I would watch my nephew for a few hours. I said okay, as long as he is picked up at the agreed-upon time since I needed to run my school day. We usually worked on lessons in the morning until early afternoon, but I was willing to shift down for the day. My mom and my sister agreed to this and dropped nephew off at 8 a.m. with a promise to pick him up at noon. 11:30 comes around and this child starts crying. I know nothing about his medical issues, so I try to feed him the lunch packed by his mother. He ate 3 bites and refused more. I put the food away and offered a bottle. The breastfeeding option was off the table at this point. 11:45 and this child is still crying. I've changed his diaper, offered food and drink. I'm holding him, and he still won't stop crying. My 5-month-old joins in wailing. I tried to put her down in her crib and she wailed louder. We later learned she had infant GERD. So I'm now sitting on the floor with 2 wailing babies who won't let me put them down for their own reasons. I kept looking at the clock and telling myself I can hold on for another 15 minutes. All while this is happening, my ex-DH was working from home. So I'm doing my best to manage 2 screaming babies while he's working in the next room. I had given the boys some random activities to keep them out of trouble. 12 o'clock rolls around and my sister and my mom have not arrived as agreed. This was unusual for them since they were always early for things. I call my sister's cell. Straight to voicemail. I call my mom's cell. Straight to voicemail. So I called my sister's cell again and left a message. I ended up calling every 15 to 20 minutes and leaving a voicemail on both cells because my mom and my sister decided to turn off their phones and do whatever because they didn't have the baby with them. 6 o'clock comes around and they are finally pulling into my driveway. I found out that they went shopping in another town. I'm livid. My nephew is beet red from crying for nearly 6 hours. I answered the door and without a word handed over the baby and his diaper bag. I walked his car seat out to their car and walked back inside the house, turned off the porch light, and locked my door. ETA. My boys missed school that day because I wasn't able to console the 2 babies. I also had to have the older boys make lunch for themselves and their brother due to being incapacitated by someone else's kid. I routinely wore my daughter to get chores and school done. My mom had the audacity to ask a couple of weeks later if I would watch my nephew. I simply said no. When she retorted that I had been willing to watch him on a regular basis, I told her that was before she and my sister abandoned him at my house and turned off their phones, leaving me no way to contact them in case of an emergency. They still bring up that I went back on my offer without taking any responsibility for their part. Actions have consequences, and they FAFO on this one. ETA. Since this is a recurring question in the comments, I'm going to address it here. I don't choose to continue contact with either of my sisters or my mother. The snide comments get made on the occasions when they feel I should be included in a group chat containing the 4 of us. My other sister agrees with our mom and GC sister. I have removed myself from many such group chats. I don't initiate contact. I get pulled into group chats about my mom's hospital visits because no one in my extended family believes in LC or NC situations. I read the texts and go about my way.